Yeah, like 99% of all startups crash and burn, but it's like pretty much a death sentence if you want to start a software company. It's winner take all.
Unless you're from Silicon Valley or you have the connection or you'll raise a shit ton of money, but they're an employee. Like you're truly an employee. You don't own that fucking company. Like you sure don't. Starting some type of software is, build it for yourself. See if your friends want it. See if it's a business that could actually make money. I would look in the mirror and I felt like a fraud. I wasn't happy with what I looked like or who I really was. And I remember I was making all this money and I felt like I was in a prison. I was so scared to have it all. And what would people think if I was good looking and successful? And then one day I woke up and I'm just like, I'm just gonna be the best fucking version of myself, be the happiest version of myself that I could be.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another 11 out of 10 podcast where we do it bigger and better every single week. Today we have a very special guest, my really good friend, Jesse Burrell, CEO of Batch, which you just sold. Batch is something that many of us in the industry built our businesses on over the years. So thanks for kicking it with us today. We got a couple extra guests here. Zach's dog. Zach's, what are your dog's names?
We've got Onyx and Buddy Jones, the apple of my eyes right here, the trust fund boys right here. So welcome, fellas.
So shout out to the
Jesse's a dog lover too, so he walked in, gave him a good kiss.
Exactly. So I
good
see you got probably, what is this? At least 100 racks on your wrist. That's gotta be the most insane Rolex I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So
the trophy.
It was
the closing.
It was actually. When we started Batch, I remember seeing Mark Wahlberg had the watch on like 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, if I ever sell the company, I get that.
Yeah.
And sold it, found it, bought it, trophy.
Love it. I always say, athletes get trophies, musicians get trophies, even scientists have the Nobel Prize. Entrepreneurs, we got to make our own trophies.
Yeah.
So I do the same thing. I only buy watches when I have like a business accomplishment that
I've done a few of them for watches and cars and stuff like that. I try to make myself go earn something if I'm going to get something cool. So just a way to trick ourselves to continue to work hard.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Good trophy. So what did it feel like when you finally got that deal done, you signed it, and you're like, wow, I just sold my company?
Yeah, it was surreal to some degree because I know that's a journey you're on right now. And, you sit there and tell yourself for years and years and years, like, this is what we're doing, this is what we're growing. Yeah. And you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And it was weird. It was a lot of excitement, a lot of, proud of what me, Annie, Nevo, and the whole team accomplished. But at the same time, it was also, part of your purpose is going to be gone now of what you're doing. And luckily for us, we carved out Batch Leads and Batch Styler, sold that to a great partner in PropStream, Stuart Title.
Yeah.
But we also, still own Batch Data, which is our B2B side of the company. So I still have something I got to
still have something to work on.
I think I'd feel a little bit differently if the whole suite of products got sold all at one time. But selling part of it, experiencing that, and then, I'm more nervous for the next sale for the simple fact of, people always talk about, everything being so purpose-driven is something you've worked so hard on. So when that day comes, we'll see what happens. But you could prepare for it, but one day you're going to wake up and not have any employees, and that's fucking weird. Yeah. Really, really weird.
Really, really weird.
Jesse, give people who aren't familiar with you a background. You started out in real estate, then you transitioned into technology and data.
Yep.
You were flipping houses before, and then why'd you get into this data company, and when did it start, and how did you meet your partners, and just give everyone a good background of how it transpired.
Yeah. So I got into real estate in 2014, working for a real estate investor. Actually, he's out of California, flipping houses, and he'd also fix houses up. He's Israeli, and then he had a property management company, and he would, put a renter in there, make them a little bit nicer. And, you know what the cap rates looked like back then.
Oh, yeah.
People were, and we're still able to find stuff. You're able to find a lot of short sales, just a lot of pre-foreclosures, distressed properties on the MLS. So did that for a year, went out on my own, and then started soon after, found out what wholesaling was through Sean Terry, who was kind of one of the pioneers here. And I remember seeing like this deal, and it wasn't on the MLS, and I was so confused. I was like, well, how is this for sale if it's not on the MLS? You know, in 2014 or 2013 when I got started, you know, we didn't know any of those things. So then starting to learn direct to seller, and you're like, well, how do you do that? And that's when the bandit signs started, and the direct mail, and then ended up partnering with two friends, Danny and Jared Vidalis, who are now married, and we just kind of started wholesaling together and doing some flips. And then they started dating, and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. So they ended up doing their own thing. I ended up doing my own thing, and then I was just really focused on wholesaling and flipping, primarily in the Phoenix market. I had a team of like 6 people, do 50, 60 wholesale deals a year back then, which wasn't bad when we didn't have all the technologies, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
And then, I just kept doing it, kept networking, and then met my now partners, Andy and Evo, at a mastermind with Brandon Simmons, who got a lot of the high-level people in Phoenix together every couple months.
Is that the Go Giver Mastermind?
It is the Go Giver Mastermind. Pace, Jamil, Brent Daniels. It's where I met a lot of people who I'm pretty close with now, and just been fun journeys to see everyone go on. But long story short, Evo's found this skip tracing provider. I just lost my TLO account.
Yeah, I remember losing mine several times.
You know, and cold calling was the biggest thing that I was personally focused on. I wasn't doing a ton of PPC. It was mainly just cold calling, and that was even before you could even do any type of texting campaigns, buddy. And Evo's like, and I was like, how much? And he's just like, oh, just use it. And I was like, worst salesman ever. And started using it. We're getting really good phone numbers, really good contact rates. And I was like, well, I probably have some other friends that may want to use this.
Yeah.
You know, what's that look like? He's like, half profits. You know, he's a Bulgarian guy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
What did he say? Half profits?
Yeah, like half the profits.
Right.
Like you could split it, you know, 50-50.
That's a good deal.
I was just like, okay, you know, works for me. And then he spooled up this skip tracing site, and he's the most literal person. He's like, well, it's batch skip tracing. Like we're batching skip traces. And I was like, cool, dude.
We got our company name. Check.
Check. And, you know, before we knew it, a ton of people were using it. I remember Carlos Reyes and Sal had their own skip tracing company, and they got kind of pissed at me, and I'm like, I didn't know you guys owned the space. And then it turned into this heated online battle on the wholesaling houses full time. And what they did was just give me a bunch of exposure because they weren't happy with me. And before we knew it, you know, we had some skip tracing company, and we were really lucky to be at the right place in the right time. And then, you know, a lot of these people that started promoting skip tracing, people were really just, you know, wholesaling it. They're getting it from a vendor and selling it.
Just marking it up,
And there were these big influencers. And I'm like, well, we aren't these big influencers, so we have to do it differently. So we started aggregating and creating our own algorithms and having our own data lakes for all this stuff, and really making sure, you know, it was our own proprietary thing to say, we're different than these guys. And that's what we did to really grow, and that's a story that I told. And then I was pretty early on to seeing people blow up and saying, hey, if you know, you're using us, you might as well promote us, and, you know, we'll give you a cut of, you know, the people that you bring in. We were pretty early on the affiliate marketing side of things, and that's what really was the game changer for us.
Blew you guys up. I remember,
just like, absolutely blew us up.
Pace and Jamil and
RJ, Tiffany.
Like, they were pushing you guys so hard.
And then from there, you know, we really ventured into batch leads, which is the real first software subscription. Batch skip tracing is more of just someone uploads a list, they pay for it. It's not really a SaaS product. It's a, you know, transactional product. So, and then we created batch leads. You know, that's where you could text out of. That's where you could pull your list. That's where you kind of that all-in-one platform. And then Evo again was like, well, if people are going to get phone numbers, we're letting them text. We might as well let them call. And before we knew it, he's like, let's go compete against Mojo Dialer. And I'm like, I figured that costs like tens of millions of dollars. He's like, $500K, we'll have something competitive.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do it.
And what did it really cost?
Probably like $500-600. It wasn't to the level of Mojo. We had to keep, you know, obviously you have a whole team like full time, but, you know, I just never could fathom, you see these companies and these softwares, and I didn't come from that world. I'm like, how do we go build that? And I had a brilliant partner, really a visionary on that software side, and then Annie was just like, as we're growing like crazy, she was just an operational monster to make sure our SOPs were put in place. We had a really good onboarding process. We had, and then I really just focused on the culture and those affiliate relationships and the marketing, and we each kind of had our special place. And we're very fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. But I also feel like we really poured into development and poured those profits into continuous growth instead of just trying to keep as much as we could.
Yeah.
What's interesting is none of you guys had big, high level experience running. How big was your company? 500 people at the height?
We got about 250 at the height.
So you guys were flipping houses, and all of a sudden you've got a big, 100,000 square foot office space in Tempe, and CEO, CFO, CTO, and you're big people running big shows. I'm sure you had to talk about the trials and tribulations of that massive growth and how you handled it. I mean, what did that do to you? Mentally and daily and stress wise, and what was the biggest takeaway by growing that company?
When it was good, it was fun. 2020 to 2022, but we really took our shot and we grew, and I learned more people doesn't always mean more revenue. So that was probably like my biggest learning lesson is we had fantastic people, but we just kept growing and growing and growing, and then you just get bloated in decisions, and people are fighting to feel important. And that was one of our real big mistakes, is just like, have the talented people, but you don't need to have all these people, and all these people is not necessarily going to mean you're going to make more money. And we just figured more people, more revenue, and I didn't know what I didn't know. We were fucking building the plane as we're flying it.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Startup.
We didn't know what we didn't know, and now we do know a lot more, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, to be honest with you, because those lessons you have to go through them, and you can't speak them to someone. Like, you kind of have to go through them and feel them, and you have to feel, the hurt of, as the market shifts and you're overstaffed, of, what it feels like from making millions of dollars each a year as founders to saying, we can't take any profits until this shit levels out, and we need to kind of steady the ship, because the one thing you can't do is stop developing those products. If that happens, someone's going to beat you, and now your enterprise values were nothing if you're losing all your customers.
Yeah, software is like the toughest space. You think wholesaling houses is tough? Try the software game. Like, it is absolutely brutal. Now, you guys really cranked up revenue. I think when I met you, you mentioned you were close to, or you were at 60 million in revenue.
Like 45 is where we peaked, but yeah, I mean, batch leads alone, I think by the time we sold it, lifetime in 4.5 years, it's like $120 million in revenue or something like that.
Damn.
So, and then, batch skip tracing, I think did roughly $25 million in revenue. And so it's like, I've had, one product's done 9 figures, 3 products have done, 8 figures. I've had a couple that we started and stopped because it just wasn't worth our time that did 7. So, it's just interesting. And, you've been on that journey too, but I don't think it's that hard or that difficult really to, get to 100K a month in recurring revenue.
Yeah.
I know the playbook to do that.
Yeah, you can do it in one webinar.
True. Knowing the right people, having the right product, having the right offer, solving the right problem. You know what I mean? You still have to figure all those things out.
Yeah, if you have a good product,
but to really grow to 7 and then 8 and then 9 is really just, it's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of skill. It's a little bit of, knowing those right people. Like, everything is so marketing based. We're talking about this offline here, but you have to have the right influencers, or you have to be the right influencer in this space, and you really need to be able to get to those people that want your product and deliver it in the right way. I think it's easier and easier with AI to, I feel like, develop something that's good.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you position it? How's your customer support? How's your technical support? All the things that I think didn't matter as much. That's really what type of person are you? What type of person is your brand? Like, people care about those social conscious things now like it or don't like it, people, spend their dollars on people that they may like. I've heard people not spend dollars on people they don't like.
Sure.
Elon, all the people spent money on Teslas that were on the left, and then Elon changes and everyone's like, selling their Teslas, not wanting their Teslas, and burning Teslas. Shit was wild. I was like, Jesus Christ, people really, vote with their wallet.
Yeah.
To some degree.
When you were scaling up, was there ever like points where you kind of like plateaued where like, a lot of people say that, like the 10 million mark is like a really difficult one to break through. Did you experience that at any point as you were scaling it up?
No, we just went crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's like with batch leads, and then like when the texting, it was just all these things that were at a time. It's like, I remember we went from like 100 clients to like 4,000 in like 6 months or something.
Damn.
It was just crazy. And then like the skip tracing alone, we're doing $1 million a month in batch leads because of all the texting and like all the subscriptions. And I mean, I'm looking up and Annie's like reporting these numbers to me, and the three of us are just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
She's just like, how much do you want to take this month? Because we're going to make more next. I was just like, I don't know. But then when the texting regulations changed, what went up so crazy, we ended up over a 3 month span almost losing $10 million in annual recurring revenue.
Oof.
So that was the great part. And the other part was we were very dependent, and our brand was known as this specific thing, even though we had these other things. And when those regulations changed and it was harder for people to do that, and people were getting scared or getting sued, because that doesn't just hurt the subscriptions, that hurts the amount of skip tracing people are doing, that amount of text messaging we're getting paid off of people's volume and all these different things. So it was brutal, dude. So, I wish we would have been, a little more thoughtful with the size of our staff, and, keeping even more, like being even more stringent when you're doing that good. Because I think we knew that there were going to be changes, maybe not to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
And that hubris hurt us.
Yeah.
You guys talked about, and it's a common theme in our podcast, delayed gratification. We haven't brought it up yet until now. You guys mentioned, Annie's spinning out these numbers and how much do you want to take? It seems to me like you guys put a lot of money back into the business for massive growth. It didn't seem like you guys were living these big lives. I know Annie lives very humbly in Evo and yourself in your house. Now with this exit, what do you plan to do with that domino effect of liquidity with this exit? Are you guys reinvesting more into your existing companies? Are you putting it into other real estate ventures? Or what's the game plan with this liquidity event for you guys?
That's a great question, Zach.
Thanks, Jesse.
Well, luckily for us, all three of us really are pretty frugal comparative to what we were making at that time, to when the market shifted and all those things happened. All of us had a lot of money in hard money. So we did a lot of investing together, and we had some money in some high yield savings accounts and CDs. And so like Annie has always been ultra conservative, to where she's always had millions of dollars set aside for if anything were to happen, or if, not having to worry about paying. If shit really hit the fan, we could take a breath to make a decision and not have it be this impulsive decision. So, but they're just, none of us did this to become rich and famous. We did it because we saw a problem, wanted to solve it. So long story short, we all had, a lot of hard money, very little debt on the houses we had. We didn't go buy these crazy Zach Keep houses per se. So we were able to not take money out of the business for a while, and all of us, no one be stressed out or saying, we can't pay our taxes, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. But now that we've sold, we really haven't done a lot with it. It's kind of plowed. We all had strategies with our wealth managers to save taxes, to grow our wealth. And, we all have kind of our own things that we're doing now, but we all did a lot of the same stuff with it, to where we haven't even had a chance to really talk about what's next. What's next is, let's continue to pour into Batch Data, the company we still own. Hopefully, God willing, we could continue to grow that and get a sale in the next couple of years. And then we'll figure it out. I'm not sure what we're going to do, if we're going to do anything together, because we're all kind of in different seasons of our lives. When we started, we were all in the same season. So let's go make some fucking money. Annie's a, mother, and she wants to have a family. I didn't, none of us had kids besides Evo had one at that time.
Yeah.
So I sure hope we do something together, because the three of us can do some special shit. So if it's not right after, there'll be a time and a place, I'm sure.
I think it's really important for the audience to see, like, in your business, you don't take, you reinvest everything into your company.
Yeah,
and that's
we
important
make zero
with growth.
Like, we literally just run the business at break even. I mean, we'll post like a little bit of our profits just to build up the cash reserves each year. But like, yeah, if you want to make money in software, you don't typically make it while you're running the software business. Most software businesses
Delayed gratification, build
lose
revenue.
money every year until you finally get an exit.
And that's where we're lucky. We were just printing money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you were sitting on cash. That's very untypical.
yeah, it was right place, right time. But yeah, a lot of the time it's you're burning, trying to get to a scale. We were lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time for that skip tracing side of things, where that's just, there was no development costs at that time.
Yeah, it's literally just cash cow with like zero maintenance, zero engineering. Like,
Yeah, we had a website, we had to do some processing stuff, and then, but we're using all that profit to go build the software. So if we didn't have that, none of those things probably would have happened. So we were just, we were smart enough to, instead of just having this one product that was a side hustle, it's like, oh, we could turn this into this whole software, like, suite of products is kind of like how we envision it. And that's where, batch leads came, and batch dialer, and then batch data is like, we're, batch service, this hub of different software products. And I think that's what made us different from everyone else that jumped onto that train and like, oh, there's this skip tracing where there's this infinite money glitch, which was for a short period of time.
No one knew the suppliers, so everyone was just marking them up. Like, every guru in town was like, oh, I got the best skip tracer, I got the best. And then behind the scenes, there's like one company that's providing,
there's a handful.
There's a handful.
There's a handful, and there's a way to make it proprietary, as we did. But yeah, a lot of the time. But you had to commit to, a bunch of records or a bunch of skip tracing to get that pricing to arbitrage. So it's a lot of, it wasn't this like this scam or this anything.
No.
It's just like, hey, I'm willing to commit, and you have to go promote it and market. It's just like any other business.
It was smart that you didn't just stop. Like, a lot of guys did just the skip tracing. Like, they never built anything proprietary. They never developed software. You were really smart to take that and not just blow it all, but actually reinvest it into building new tools.
That's what I think we were different than a lot of the other people that, jumped on that train is, we wanted to, we knew that there's a race to the bottom eventually there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, love perfect competition.
It's interesting. In both your businesses, before with Vidalis and his wife, you were a minority because it was basically 2 against 1. You get out of that, then you go again, and you're also a minority. Obviously, you're a third, or whatever your structure is. But then you got brother, sister, and of course, blood is going to be thicker than anything else. And so, did that ever become a fear to you, or did you ever?
Huge.
Right. So talk about being, I don't want to say an outsider, but a minority partner, even though you had equal shares going in, because they could technically outvote you. Did you ever talk about any hardships or sleepless nights where you were concerned that maybe they're going to push you out or things of that nature?
Yes. So, going through that with Danny and Jared was tough because they weren't together at first. And then I feel like the biggest issue with them was they wanted to start doing some of their own stuff together. And then we had our thing together, and I'm like, I don't work for you guys. Like, if we do anything together, we do everything together. You can't do side flips or this flip or start their rental portfolio. And that's when it was just like, okay, this isn't gonna work. And I didn't want to have another partner again. Like, it wasn't really something I was looking for. But when I met Evo and Annie and we started doing this, it felt like something special, and it felt like they kind of understood what I was good at. I understood what they were special at. And with Danny and Jared, we were still so new and still learning, and this person's supposed to do this, and we just didn't know what we didn't know. And then them dating just complicated it, to be honest with you. And they're married with a beautiful son and another daughter on the way now. So I introduced them to each other. So I'll always have that, and I'm super close with them. So grateful for all of it. But with Annie and Evo, to your point, if we do anything together, we do everything together. There's not a side, we do everything. Even if I want to do something, or it's all of it, any investments, we have to bring each other in or give ourselves the opportunity. Like, I was very careful. We all have to agree on something because of that voting power of them being siblings. It's like, no, if we all three have to agree, and I know it should be a majority, but like, I just can't do that. And if we're gonna be partners,
so you put a clause in to protect yourself based on that kinship, if you will.
It's never been like that either, but I just, I do trust them. I've always trusted them, but at the same time, experiencing something with people that you trust as well, but they both separate their family from their work so much. It's like,
that's an anomaly.
Me and Annie used to be the ones that go at it, and I've learned how, like, just don't fight with her. So like, now with them, it's just so funny seeing them bicker at each other, and it's over like the stupidest shit, but it's normally over like how they built this Excel thing for whatever we're doing or looking at. And he's like, you didn't do this right. And he's like, oh, I did this. And they're like fighting over, like, I'm like, you guys, like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like they're proving a point to each other. But like, over the big stuff, it's like they have their opinions. There's no collusion going on. Like, they believe in what they believe in, and it has nothing to do with, Jesse, Annie, or Evo having a relationship with each other.
Sure.
And very fortunate to have that. But, I was blessed with some amazing business partners, because, I mean, you've had your issues with yours, I'm sure.
Yeah, just finished the buyout.
So, I mean,
It's good to get that finally done.
Robert grew 4 inches in the last 2 weeks. Unbelievable. Thanks, you.
but like, for you, how much stress or like having that friction, how much did that derail you from focusing on stuff you needed to focus on in the business? Like,
I mean,
because I've had the separation too, and obviously it was not fun, but I kind of left the business. You kept the business the first time.
Well, I just ended up in a situation where I was contributing a lot more while my co-founder was kind of in retirement mode. So it's like, okay, you're just gonna coast. I gotta buy you out, right? So
Did that
came
come,
up with a number, and
did that come from unalignment or like different seasons?
Well, he's a lot older than me.
But did you guys have that conversation early?
So the funny story is, InvestorLift was never supposed to be a company.
So kind of
He
like
was
what I
an
did.
overseas engineer, and this was just a little side gig. I was like, oh, maybe I'll sell it to a couple of my friends. So I was like, oh, I'll just throw you 50%, because if he has some skin in the game, just like a little handshake, you go, I'll give you 50%. So there was no like structured plan. Like, if I ever set up a company again, I'll like get all the docs and have investing schedules. I don't know what the hell a fucking investing schedule was when I started InvestorLift. It was literally just gonna be a side gig that would maybe make a couple $100,000 a year. And then the same wave that blew us up, that 2020 to 2022, like we did one webinar, and our first webinar, we sold 1.8 million.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I have a real company here. I gotta get out of the real estate and start focusing on this.
So it was just, for you, it was the side thing. We were a little more intentional, you know what I mean? So we kind of, with the batch skip tracing, we kind of dated for a year. Like, we each still had our own wholesale companies and flips going on, and they were very hesitant because they're like, they're Eastern Europeans. Like, we have a family business. You're some slick talking white boy, like, fuck you. Who are you?
Yeah.
It took me I knew pretty quickly. I was like, we got something special.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like courting both of them. It was the weirdest shit ever.
Yeah.
I just knew. And then eventually they're like, okay, like, I knew pretty early on. I think they were just hesitant to make sure, like, am I that person? Can I trust you? Do you have the same values? Can we really trust you and bring this in? And they really brought me into their family and their culture, and getting to know all their friends and stuff. So it was very honored to, be a part of that group of people.
That's smart. I mean, listen, you want to date before you get married,
For sure.
From her perspective, and from yours as well. You want to see how they operate. Listen, everyone thinks out there, and this is a good lesson, people operate different when money's on the table. They just do. You know, that's why, listen, I'm a solopreneur. There's a lot of friends that I have. I wouldn't do business with them. Love them. You're fun to have a drink with and have a dinner with, but I wouldn't do business with you. I'm sure you guys feel the same way.
Yeah. We were talking yesterday. You're thinking about spinning up a trash business.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how to structure it. And I said, the most important thing is have a vesting schedule with a cliff.
Yeah.
Usually if you're working with someone, you're going to figure out whether or not you work together well in the first year. Mm-hmm. So you throw a cliff on it. A cliff means, for anyone watching this, if you end up terminating the agreement within that first year, there's no equity.
Right.
So you retain full ownership. And then typically, like with my team stock option plans, we have a 4-year vesting schedule. So if you make it past that first year, your first year is vested, and then every month you got
That's what we had too.
Yeah.
That's what we had too. Because like these people, you need to keep them incentivized. And if the company and enterprise value keeps growing,
yeah,
they should be entitled to, if you're going to make a bunch of money, they should be entitled, like you're going to get really generational wealth changing money, but they should get life-changing money. And when we sold, I was able to see that. That was probably the cool. I was already worth 8 figures before we sold the company. Seeing some people make their first $1 million and having my sister be a part of that and really have some money that changed her life, that was like...
Was she crying?
She didn't believe it.
Oh, really?
I was probably more emotional than she was about it because like it was... You know, my life had already been changed because, as I mentioned earlier, you know, just being a cash cow, like we printed some money for a handful of years and I was good with that money and invest that money smart. So selling the company didn't change my life. It really, I got to fulfill a huge goal of my life. And I'm very excited with what we got paid and how we got paid, but it didn't change it. It gave me some more liquid dollars to go play with and go grow my wealth, but it was setting out to accomplish something, and we were lucky enough to find an incredible partner to sell to, and a publicly traded company to sell to. Not a lot of people could say that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And going through that, and you learn a lot going through a sale and what it takes to sell, and what are all the things you didn't know. And there's some stuff I'll tell you off camera that I need to make sure that you're doing that me, Andy, and Eva had no idea of. These are some of the things that we needed to have buttoned up. Like you just don't know what you don't know. And a lot of that stuff is, when you start early, especially a software company, I feel like getting mentored by someone that has sold could be, and I don't have a coaching or anything, but like learn from someone that sold or ask them questions because they're going to help you structure certain things like the vesting and the this and the that and all these different things that you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, like 99% of all startups crash and burn, especially in the tech space. So to be it's not even 1%. I think it's like 1 in 10,000 tech companies ever sell.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know the exact numbers. Maybe I'll look them up and put them on the screen. But it's like pretty much a death sentence if you want to start a software company.
You're better off
You're
starting
walking
a
in with a
restaurant.
death sentence. You're way better.
10% success in restaurants.
And then you don't make any money until you actually, because it's winner take all. Winner take all, so it's just
but
war,
we both bootstrap too, though. That's where I think it's different.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Let's talk bootstrap because
let's talk about that.
Because we have to build something that's profitable. Because we're not taking on funding. Like I think
you never took any funding.
No.
Yeah.
Not $1. Nor did you.
I have 4 convertible notes, but just small amounts. Like,
but that you didn't do that to start.
The total sum is less.
But that was not to start the business.
No, yeah.
I think really a lot of the people that started software, unless you're from Silicon Valley or you have the connections or you go raise a shit ton of money, but dude, they're getting such a small percentage of that. They're an employee. Like you're truly an employee for a board or you get fired. You can start something, have an idea, but like when you go raise tens of millions or hundreds of millions, you don't own that fucking company.
No.
Like you sure don't.
You have no decision-making power.
And I think starting some type of software is, build it for yourself. See if your friends want it.
Yeah.
See if it's a business that could actually make money. And
that's what we both did, right? Is we both just built shit for ourselves.
Yeah.
We both were in the business. We both were the customer, and we were just trying to solve our own problems. And then we're like, hey, maybe our buddies will like this. Yeah. Do you ever wish that you took VC money? Like, do you ever think, oh, maybe if I took VC money, like I would have? I've always thought, like, oh, it might have like good to have some VC money, not because I need the money, but because you have that experienced advisor who can like coach you on
A higher multiple exit. Yeah.
like a lot of the VCs, they'll help you with like hiring key people. You know, there's certain VCs that's all they do is like they try to find you the best people. So you need a new director of marketing. They find one that just came out of another company that exited, or they help you with the exit. You know, they're already aligning like potential acquisition.
That's
companies.
where I think the big thing could have came is you have someone else, like no one gave a shit if we sold or not because no one had any vested interest besides me, Andy Nebo, and our employees, right? But having someone that's spent or multiple people that have given you tens of millions of dollars, like even if your company's not doing great, they're gonna figure out a way to sell you to them, and now they're the next sucker. It's like how I look at it. It's like I feel like there's a lot more shitty businesses sold that are VC backed versus that are bootstrap backed because
because they
you
can't have on the record.
you have that
Dog and pony show.
That next fool syndrome. It's like, hey, it can be this. Just buy us, and then I'll get you back on the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're making money on their fees.
Yeah, one of my VC buddies said, as soon as you get a VC backed, you will never go bankrupt. And I said, why is that? He's like, because VCs, they have to go raise money from their LPs, which are all these big pension funds and shit. So if they have a company that they invested in, that they backed with investor money, and that company fails, that's a black stain on their record.
Sure. Makes
So
sense.
what they'll do is, even if they have a piece of shit company, they'll go find some leverage on some other company or do some side deal to get them to just buy it for spare parts. Prime example. I actually think that Google is going to crush OpenAI over the next couple of years. And one of the reasons why I think that is I don't think Sam Altman is actually a good CEO. If you go and you look at his track record,
I've seen these videos.
Yeah. He's a con artist. Like he was in Y Combinator, with Paul Graham years ago. The Y Combinator is like the most famous startup in computer. Airbnb came out of them. Dropbox came out of them. Anyway, so Sam Altman gets into Y Combinator, and his product is this piece of shit little app where you can like check in, and your friends can see where you are. Right? Like that was like. That was a thing. There was like
called Loop or something?
Yeah, it was called Loop. And he just bullshitted everyone that he had all these users.
Yeah, he lied.
He got one of his VCs to, I don't know, somehow apply some leverage to one of these telecom companies to buy the company for $40 million. And it turns out that his entire app had less than 1,000 users, never made any money, tens of millions of dollars invested, never made a single penny. They bought the thing for $40 million, and as soon as they bought it, they just shut it off.
Wow.
But there's
That's what
some
I'm saying.
backroom
There's
deal.
something like scratch my back, I'll scratch yours on the next. So like to your VC question, no, but I see the benefits of it. And if, I was already the successful real estate investor that had money, you know what I mean? If I didn't have any money and I'm trying to start something up and have this grandiose idea, I'm not saying like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I think most of the successful ones are the people that bootstrap something, because like, do you just treat money differently when it's yours?
100%.
Get infused with all this cash, and these VCs are saying spend. It's like, I don't know. I'm glad I bootstrapped, because like I don't care if I ever start another company and raise, I would still treat it the same way. I'd find the grittiest way to get the most dollars out of my money, because it's just going to give me a bigger valuation. I'm not going to fuck other people's money off. Like I can't do it. It's just not who I am.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. The only way I would take money is if I just want that person to share my success. It's like, I'll let you put a little bit of money in because I want you to ride it up, and because it provides some strategic value outside of that. Like the convertible notes I did, a couple small ones. Like I did one with like Nick Perry.
Yeah.
In the early days, 25 grand. He said, "Can I put in some money?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll take 25 grand." And just gave him a little bit of incentive to push it.
He's always been like your dude too, and he's like super AI, like forward thinking, and it's interesting. So Zach, for you, being a solo guy,
Solopreneur.
that's crushed it.
Yeah.
I was that too. What do you like? What do you not like about it? What, kind of like what me and Rob are talking
Sure.
about.
I mean, as a solopreneur, I get to make fast decisions. In the business of real estate, which is relationships, I'm not having to worry about somebody else tarnish it or make a poor decision, which would affect our company. I'm 1,000% confident in, my decisions and execution and being a guarantee, because I can't control other people. If they have a bad day or a bad relationship or they get some mental problems, I can't control that, but I can control myself. And I know with 1,000%, guarantee, when I ink or I call someone and say I'm good on it, or a handshake, I'm good. That's how I built this company, one relationship, one handshake at a time. And speed is the name of the game. If you've got 4 or 5 different members and you got to go to committee and talk about a deal and make sure everyone's got, 100% favorability on that deal's already sold. I already committed to it faster than you guys brought it to your committee to get everyone online to move forward. So for me, I love the execution. I've always been kind of a solo guy, and doing Ironmans, it's a selfish sport. I've been a selfish person, right? Is it the best way for everyone? Not at all. It works for me. I love getting together and breaking bread and having beers, but I'm a control freak. I want to do it my way all the time. I have a vision, and that's just the way that that's how I'm built. So it's work for me. In fact, when you build the company as a solopreneur and you delegate to other people who work for you, that's hard because you want to do everything hands-on, and that can slow you down if you try and take on tasks that you're not getting paid for appropriately, right? If you earn $1,000 an hour and you're out there turning on utilities or go to your mailbox to collecting mail, that is not a good ROI. So there's certain things you have to learn. Your highest and best use of your time is cultivation of relationships and acquisitions, which is all about cultivating relationships and execution. But circling back to what you're talking about, giving the Nick Perry $25,000 or whatever, one of the strategic things that I've done in my business is I will allow major wholesalers to co-invest. If they bring me multiple opportunities, I'll say, hey, I bought a deal. Would you like to put in that we can go 50-50? You don't have any decision power per se. You can tell me what you want, but I'm going to let you invest. We're going to make a good return. We're going to have fun because it's celebrating. Solo isn't that. So conversely, celebration of success individually, it's like, okay, so there's another zero in your bank account. That doesn't move the needle independent. It's not about the money anymore. It's about the art of the deal. But when you bring your friends and colleagues that have made you money and you've made them money together and we're on the same equal playing field, it is more fun. Like I will say, when you close a deal with a good friend who's made tens of thousands of dollars or $100,000 with, it's great. It's like, hey man, we're closing this deal. Doesn't matter you make 20 grand, 10 grand, 5 grand. Let's go celebrate. Let's go to City Hall. Let's go to Vegas. There's something about that synergistic, element that is eliminated as a solopreneur. So as people that are out there investing by yourself, don't be, there's opportunities and people are bringing you a lot of deals or someone's helped you along the way. I'm always about giving back and give them, it's not like they can't go make their own money, but they're not geared towards, stabilizing assets. They're geared towards wholesaling. So what do you do with that money? It sits in your 4% treasury, or you invest in more deal flow or technology or whatever that may be. But I'm giving them another platform to make money and have fun. Yeah. And so I think that's important to figure out. How can you give back and further enhance those relationships that you've already cultivated?
Yeah, and I think you're such a great example of, I feel like a lot of people, and you'll know this because we both like batch leads, and probably even more so than you, but had a lot of people just getting started, right? Yeah. You see more of that now on Investor Lift as that's evolved, but the biggest trend that I notice is everyone is so scared to start real estate on their own. Everyone wants a partner. Like I had a partner, and like that was the biggest mistake. Like I should just went and figured the shit out on my own. And like for you, I think it's just so brilliant that, have a vision, trust it, go learn it. You got people help you along the way as you're getting started, but it's really, you're such a relationship guy, and, anyone that's going to be super successful in a relationship, I think, your reputation matters a ton. And I think how you treat people matters a ton, because as you're getting started, like there's a lot of people that's just, real estate's been around forever.
Yep.
It's forever evolving.
Yep.
And I think it's really important. That's how I was able to be successful. Is not the smartest person in the world, but I know that, and I want to learn, and I want to get to know from other smart people, and I want to figure out how I could contribute or add value to people as well. So it's just the point I'm trying to make is, if you are like that person that's getting started, it's okay to go do it on your own. Or if you're gonna have a partner, do what I did and date, and like maybe split marketing costs for the 6 months or a year, and you're doing some deals together. And because like I've heard people and seen people do that, and then they split marketing costs. Someone gets it under contract in their name, and then it's a bigger assignment, feeling like, oh, sorry, this one's just mine. And then you learn real quickly, it may cost you 10 grand or 20 grand, But at least you learn quickly, like, hey, at least it's not hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars that we're making a year that some crazy shit's happening.
For sure.
Like, it's okay to do it on your own. Everyone wants a fucking partner. No,
Yeah.
go learn how to do it, have a vision, and then hire the people around you. Like the most successful people I know in the real estate investing space, most of them own their own business. Some of them have partners, but I'm talking like the real successful ones. But a lot of them, like Doug Hopkins, for example, let's use Doug as an example. He has partners in different markets that, like, it's like he almost has his own franchise model to some degree. It's like, I own Phoenix I own all of, but I have someone that I work with here, I have someone that I work with here. And, you know, he's found that way to really get his cake and eat it too, to be honest with you. It's kind of like his vision for the Phoenix, and then the other areas that he's in, dude, it's wild. The amount of wholesale fees that he does
Doug
between
brings up.
his 3 markets.
Oh, I know, because I buy a lot of his deals, and every time I see those fees, and God bless him, but no one realizes this. Those fees are big, but you know what else is big? His ad spend.
Yeah, over
you know,
$1
so
million.
Huge.
So that's the thing is, oh, you made 100,000 on this deal, or 50 or 20. Yeah, he spent 2 million. He could have broke even. He could have lost that month. So it's like anyone that looks all the time on these assignment fees doesn't recognize how long did somebody cultivate this lead? What did they spend to procure this? How many hours did they work on the phones and do that? If you're so worried about somebody else's fees, find a new business. Can you make money on this deal? Yes or no? Everything else doesn't matter. And was it a predatory acquisition? So it's also really important. If someone's making a huge spread and you find out the seller is not, you know, some 80-year-old woman with a disease or mental
that's not
incapacity,
Doug.
that's important, right?
Yep.
As long as that person is coherent and, you know, they made a good decision, best for their family, and that wholesaler is doing their business honestly and transparently and ethically, great. I will never buy a deal if I can make $1 million and somebody got screwed on that deal, I'm out. That's also very important in this business to look at the macro perspective of that deal, not just the micro. How much can you make? Oh, I'm not worried about where it came from. I want to make sure that where it did come from is a reliable, good source, and there was no, you know, funny business behind the scenes. That's really important.
Guys, if you have not watched the Doug Hopkins episode, check it out. Doug is a legend.
He's
in
a
this
great
space.
guy, very good friend.
When
of
we
mine.
had him on, I think he did 170 deals that month. Just insane.
Big
170 assignments in
numbers.
1 month.
He's
He's a beast.
Absolute beast.
I finally got to go see his house a couple weeks ago.
Oh, it's
Beautiful.
insane, right?
I was like, damn it, Doug. Now I want a better house.
He put a pickleball court in his garage. Did you see that?
I saw that.
Yeah, in his guest house. Yeah.
Yep. I was the first one over there before some of the games a few weeks ago, and he gave me a nice big tour.
Nice.
Truly incredible. It's cool to talk about someone that is so obsessed with being the best. He still goes on like 40 appointments a week.
Yeah, but that also helps procure deals because he's a relationship guy and he can close. When he walks in the door versus some of his other
They're like,
guys,
"Oh my God, it's you."
Doug Hopkins.
the guy
you
from
want
the
my
TV
house.
commercial.
Right.
But
That
people,
does help.
and then people are like, well, how do I scale out of my wholesale business, or how do I come big? I'm like, you know, Doug Hopkins still goes on like all the appointments all week, and they're like, what? Like, he loves real estate.
Sure.
You just love making money.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
never gonna beat him,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you just want to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
He just wants to help as many people as he can, and you know, he buys every deal he says he's gonna buy.
100%.
He puts down an exorbitant amount of earnest money to let them know that, like, I got you. Like, someone may be offering you more, but like, I'm closing this house.
That should be, by the way, Doug, that should be your new advertising motto. I got you. I'm telling you, that would be great.
Yeah, I could totally
Nobody
see
else steal that. We'll call him and let him know first.
got you.
If you call Doug, I want to let you know, I got you.
Yeah.
And I got you too. I'll buy that deal. All right, Doug? Give me a shout.
But no, it's just I'm so blessed to be around, you know, people like you guys and Doug, and there's so many great people in this industry and in the circle that I run in. I'm very grateful to, you know, even be looked at as a peer, because there's just so many successful people around me.
Let's talk about, you know, no one knows about your past. Are you a scratch golfer?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. What's your handicap? 1,
Three.
2?
Three.
The 3. You become a very good pickleball player. You're, athletic. You're super competitive. How does that athletic background translate into your world of business? And talk about your daily life and compliments to you. You've really transformed your body, your mind, your spirit, your energy, your humility as well. So congrats on all that. Talk about your fitness journey and what people can do to be in the best shape of their lives and make changes. And I'm curious to see if you found a correlation between the physical aspect of your appearance and how that transcended on, managing 250 people, being a leader, and someone looks at you. Did you see people responding to you differently? Let's talk about some of those correlations.
Yeah. I grew up playing sports, competitive, in relatively good shape, and then started down the real estate path, and I really was unbalanced. Focus really, I was broke. I didn't get into real estate till I was 29. Never made more than 40 grand in a year. I kind of wanted to be a poker player and wanted to chase women, which is hard to do when you don't have any money in Scottsdale. But
You just have to run a little faster.
got to get creative, got to make girls laugh. Always had that. And I just was so focused on making money. Before I knew it, I looked up and I was really fat. And I was like, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. Luckily, I was a little chubby when I met my now wife. So like when we got married, she's like, I was really with him through thick and thin. Like he got pretty fat. And I was just so focused on, I was just so broke for so long. And I remember my first $10,000 month and my first $20,000, $50,000, first $100,000 month it was like a dream come true, honestly. But I would look in the mirror and I felt like a fraud. I really did. Like looking at my employees, and I worked my ass off, but I was not being a person that they could really look up to. I'm like, you need to do all these things, you need to be disciplined, and I'm going home and eating.
It's hypocritical.
Yes, I'm eating fast food every night. Yeah. I'm drinking all the time, not all the time, but drinking more than I should, and I'm just not being the best version of myself. And I think that's where some of my arrogance, when probably early on when you met me, came. And it wasn't arrogance, it was me being scared of, I just wasn't happy with the person that I actually was, and I was having money be the thing that made me great.
So you project something.
I was projecting, and I wasn't trying to be rude, but I wasn't happy with what I looked like or who I really was. And I remember I was making all this money, and I felt like I was in a prison of I couldn't go do the sports I wanted to do, or go. I didn't even want to go to Hawaii or go travel anywhere, because I was going to take my shirt off and then just fat whale. It was like a penguin waddling around.
I never knew you back then. I gotta go look up some photos.
Can we put a picture of you back then? Is a comparison?
I was 250.
You're 250.
250 to what now? 150?
How tall are you?
165.9.
160.
Oh, so you're big.
I was a penguin. Dude, I waddled, bro. I waddled.
You have to show me a photo.
We'll put one up for sure.
Put one up.
I've always known you just
this is really important.
It's a super athlete. You've always looked.
But this is really important for the viewers, because so many times people are just focusing on money. You focus on money, it's not, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Like you say, you got to be passionate about the journey. And by the way, just because you have the money and then you have this 250-pound frame and you're, internally in this prison, who cares about the money?
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. So it's important to you guys out there to have balance as you're growing your business.
You could have seasons, and you could be a little more off balance than other parts. But honestly, one day, and I think I was just sabotaging myself, to be honest with you guys, is I was so scared to have it all. And what would people think if I was good looking and successful, and what would my friends think of me from high school? What would this person? And they're going to judge me because maybe they're thinking I'm arrogant. And then one day I woke up and I'm just going to be the best fucking version of myself, be the happiest version of myself that I could be. I want to go to work and have people look at me for everything, not just the work, but for the health and the fitness and the not drinking and just being someone that they could be like, I want to be better. And I really try to walk it as I talk it. And I don't even drink anymore. Or hardly anymore. And I really wanted to be that person that people could say, I want to be better, and that's someone that actually does it. And I'm just happier and I'm
You
more
feel you've been
balanced.
released from prison.
Yes.
Good for
It
you.
was embarrassing to look like that, but at the same time, if I'm going to be the CEO of a company and people are going to look up to me, I really wanted them to look up to me. Well, more look down to me, I'm short, but you know what I mean. But, can't have it all. And I've never been happier, just, pushing, and, it's tough because working out and eating healthy and
Discipline.
it's
Consistency.
there's a lot of
I
discipline.
got to tell you, I'm more
Every
proud of
day
you
I see
today
you posting on
in your
Instagram.
transformation. Yeah, he does, and we should talk about that in a second, the dues paid. But I'm more proud of you, candidly, because money comes and goes. Nobody cares how much money, and nobody cares, period. At the end of the day, I'm more proud about your fitness journey and you becoming that leader and releasing yourself from prison than making tens of millions of dollars on an exit, candidly. More proud of that journey than your monetary journey.
I am too. I'm happier, and I'm just grateful. It started just as an accountability thing. Me and my sister would work out with our trainer, and I just posted every day, dues paid, and it just kind of became something. I haven't done it as much this year, but I do it like once or twice a week now.
Yep.
But I feel like it was just kind of annoying, but maybe I should still just continue to do it every day.
Motivates me. I like it. I'm like, fuck, if he's out there doing it, I got to get my dues paid too.
I'll get back into posting more, but yeah, it was really just the discipline. And Logan, who you guys are going to be interviewing later today,
Just roll in.
he was a big part of my journey, as well as just kind of like pushing me. And he'd send me pictures and be like, "One day, bud, good luck."
He sent you nudes?
Basically, he'll talk about that later.
I know.
Just sending pictures back and forth for like 3 months.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So we've always argued, and I mean, Logan's really lean, and it took me a long time to get there, but it came from the macros, the meal prepping, and I was lucky enough to finally start really getting with the meal prep, and that's what was the game changer for me. Is like, that's where the discipline is pretty crazy for me. Is I had meal prep, every single day on the weekends, 1 or 2 cheat meals, not cheat days, and they're not even that bad at cheat meals. It's a dinner out, having a filet and maybe some potatoes or something like that. But hired a nutritionist, put a meal plan together. My mom is awesome and meal preps all my food for me. I have a running Google Doc with her, so I have every week, and if I have something going on or can't do it, I don't want her to make me food, not eat it. So
She could drop it off here so it doesn't go to waste.
yeah. So it's being very intentional. If you want to have great habits and great discipline, it's just like business. You have to have SOPs put in place because you have to make shit easy on yourself. So it doesn't feel like it's discipline. It's just a part of what you do every day. Like, if food's put in front of me every day and I'm just eat what I'm supposed to eat, I'm good. It's easy to do that, but it's if you have to figure out how much to portion and how much to make, and one Sunday night you just don't feel like doing it, like all those things add up. And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people that help me be the best version of myself, and I couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. I mean, there's times where we play poker and we have beautiful food and Capital Grill and sushi, and there's Jesse walking with his little, chicken breast and eating in the corner, being disciplined. Unbelievable.
great.
So
Every time I see you, you look better and better.
Thank you.
You're beating Brian Johnson on the whole like reverse aging.
he's coming out. That's his new company. These new supplements.
Yes.
There's a lot of
I
money
can
in
totally
that,
see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in any business.
for sure.
Yeah.
I love
Good
it.
stuff.
Jesse, you've had an incredible journey from making 40K a year in your late 20s to discovering real estate to kind of accidentally starting a software company and now selling it for tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars with $100,000 factory iced out Rolex on your wrist.
Yeah.
If someone's listening to this podcast and you were to leave them with one piece of advice that you've learned from your journey, what would it be?
It's a great question. This kind of been the staple of this conversation. Is it's not all about the money.
Oh.
It's really about the journey, and it's about how you treat people, I think. And I think it's about the relationships you make along the journey. Like, Zach, to your point, we don't care about the money. Like, I'm so grateful to be in a room with you guys and having a friend like Logan and all these my success has brought me tons of great people in my life, and the money is just part of the game. But like the reward is the journey and like the great people that you get to meet along the way. Like it's really about just go get it. Go be the best version of yourself. Go dream big, grow this big company. And if you do that and if you work that hard, you're going to meet a bunch of incredible, successful people along the way.
Well, Jesse, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother.
Jesse, I
Super
just
proud
gotta
of you.
say, dues paid.
Dues paid.
Dues
Dues
paid.
paid. Touche.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, if you found value in this podcast, make sure to drop a like, a comment, subscribe. Every week, we're bringing you the best content from legendary entrepreneurs like Jesse Burrell. So we'll see you next week.